noticed something. Here's the moment I noticed it as well. What a plonker. Oh, for sake. Put the front wheels on the back. But they're going to be a struggle to come off. Oh, I've left that one. Right, so improved colour. The markings are yet to be done, and a little bit of weathering and some muck on the wheels, and I think we're there. I've got the ugly box on, the great light, and I've got, what else? Got the cables sorted at the back by an awful lot of fakery, which is what I shouldn't be doing. And I think all the parts are on. That's what I'm saying. All the parts are on, and we've got a new shade of green. The antenna are interesting. Can we see that? Not really. The antenna are interesting because I'll come back to that because we need to look at the instructions. But anyway, here it is. Pretty much there. It's a good, simple, straightforward, fun model, apart from those cables at the back. I am enjoying these more simple models at the moment. Some models are a bit too heavy going. It's a real it feels less like a hobby. So I've been heading for some of these really simple jobs. I've got a few more modern, more complex ones ready to go, so to speak, so we will be seeing them. I'm not backing away, but this was a pleasure. I say it's all ready to go. I've knocked a couple of twiddly bits off, so I've got to put them back on. Obviously, some things just want to get knocked off, so it's worth saving it to the last minute, really. But yeah, let's get some markings on. It looks good, doesn't it? That, well, forget my model making. The tank, the real thing, was a very, very powerful looking vehicle. I think the main flaw in all of this is the kind of minimal nature of the instructions, as was often the case in the olden days. But the thing that really gets me is this cable holding the antenna. You can see it's bowing the antenna back. There's no real sign how it attaches. I mean, what really happened? Did they tie it in a knot? Then it must go into the, you know, body somewhere. And there, whoopsie, and we've lost it. And we're back, and there you can see it just runs in, and that's that. And from the back in particular, or the front rather, you can see it bows the antenna inwards. Obviously there's ways of doing it, as you know, model making goes, but there's no sign from the manufacturer, which is just a bit disappointing. I was considering human hair, but I'm not going to, I stopped myself, let's put it that way. I'm sure there's a million and one other ways, but no indication. So that's a disappointment, that's all. But there we go, with lightweight instructions. Just a couple of little notes from the instructions and from a little book that I'll introduce shortly that I thought were very interesting about this tank. One is an interesting phrase itself that gives us an idea of when this tank, when this model was manufactured. says in the instructions, as West Germany is adjacent to the communist sphere, which obviously this is a West German tank, and it was designed to deal with the communist sphere, shall we say, to quote them. There isn't a communist sphere anymore, is there? That's really, we got a little artifact from a different era. Anyway, the instructions go on to say the Leopard tank appeared in 1961 in West Germany, and it was prototyped in 1961 and 62, and was formally adopted by the West German Army in 1963. My little book says 65, I think. I'll double check that. It says it has a crew of 4. What's very interesting is 3 of them are in the turret. You've only got the driver down at the bottom. And it has, its gun is an L7A1 105mm made in Britain, which is common to tanks of the NATO forces at that time, obviously. Well, I didn't know that. That's very interesting. You see, the thing is, I rarely stray into the Cold War and later. I'm not quite sure why that is. Probably because I was in that, if you see what I mean. I was a kid in the latter part of the Cold War, and it's all just sort of wallpaper to me. Anyway, here we are with this little book, An Illustrated Guide to Modern Tanks and Fighting Vehicles. This itself is not new, so very strange format for a book full of illustrations. Edited by Ray Bonds, and we will turn to the relevant page. I'll look up the date of this book later. Anyway, this one has there's a nice photograph actually, we'll sit on that. This has a fascinating little kind of turn of phrase as well. Without doubt, the Leopard MBT, built by Germany, not West Germany, notice, has been one of the most successful tanks to be developed since World War II. That's good to know, isn't it? We like that. Although, when the German army was reformed, it was equipped with the American M47 medium tanks. At one time it was hoped that Germany and France would produce a common tank. Here we go. But like so many programs of this type, nothing came of it. I love that. That's just says it all, doesn't it? And we know that today with many an aircraft. Anyway, this says it's the Leopard 1, and you can see some of the pores on that if you want to know. But look what it turned into. That is really quite something, isn't it? And then see, the pages don't want to turn. And quite a bit of speed to it as well. It's kind of recognisable along here, obviously all that, but the turret has changed completely. Quite fascinating. And here we have the basic details. A Salamander book, 1980. So it is an interesting, handy book, particularly for, as I say, someone like me who doesn't know this period's weaponry quite so well. And look at all of those. So anyway, back to the tank, or rather back to the model. So basically it's done now. All the bits are on, a bit of weathering and that kind of stuff. And as I was saying, it's a good model. It's a simple model. So if you're into that, this is one to get. And really, it was one of those that just, it all came together nicely. No real problems apart from the cables. And it was a joy to make. So if you are looking for something straightforward, easy, nice and quick, then this is, I would put this high on the list. For me also, because the Airfix 172nd model was the first tank ever made. There is a little bit of nostalgia there. Anyway, thanks for watching. Should be more soon, I hope, all being well. You never know though, do you, with me? And yeah, let's get back to this shortly.